Welcome back, students. I noticed a lot of you were away yesterday. For one, I also noticed that a number of people. I went looking through folders and everybody's folders here, and I noticed a lot of people haven't organized their folders yet, as I showed you guys to do yesterday. So please go back and do that. Check your drive. Your drive should be organized. Clean it up, please. Second, for people who weren't here yesterday or people who haven't finished this, doing the diagrammatic instruction from yesterday, I can see what you've done and what you haven't done. This particular assignment, pretty straightforward. You should work through this. Um, it needs to be done. So, also pretty straightforward, especially the last part here, um, creating diagram instructions using these instructions of how to open a combination lock. Okay, moving on. For today, um, your assignment is this one here. It's called Flowcharts. You're going to open up this file. The next step is scrolling down. You're going to look at this first chart. It just lists a series of symbols and what they're used for when you're doing flowcharts. When you're using flowcharts, flowcharts are used, and you'll find them all over the place, but especially in computer, not necessarily just programming, but just understanding logic and paths. And it's a nice way to clean up how you're thinking about things. Lots of magazines use them as ways to attract attention. Actually, it's just a neat way to organize ideas, and it's quite common, especially in advertising and magazines. So this oval represents a starting point. You use flow lines to go from a starting point to other things. This shape, the parallelogram, shows when something's coming in or something is going out, especially in terms of keyboard entry or like an answer to a question, or on the outside, like a printout or a TV screen. It's a way to show something going out. The rectangle is like a calculation. Something has, you add one to something or add multiply times 100. It's a calculation box. This one here is probably the most useful, most important. This is the decision box, and in fact, that's the one that I focus on here. In this question here, what does a diamond represent? Why is it a good shape for this, as opposed to, say, a circle? So read this over, look at the image itself, and think about how in a flowchart, if an arrow comes in the top, why is this shape good for what it's used for? Moving on, next questions. The next three questions here are all examine figure 2, examine figure 2, and examine figure 2. Figure 2 is this big spiral shaped flowchart. One of the things that students, when they first look at this, they go, I don't get it. The idea here is this big question, is your online data safe, is being answered sort of as you go around the flowchart. And what you'll notice is the answer to almost every question leads you to this big middle hexagon with the answer no. If you are able to go all the way around, see, yes, yeah, no, all the way around answering questions that don't automatically say your information is safe. You go around and around and around and around and around. And then it says, do you have any data accessible online? No? Then maybe your data is safe online. Your job is to go through this flowchart. One of the questions here is, looking at the jokes. There are lots of jokes in here. Please read through the spiral of that flowchart, and you'll notice some of them are pretty silly questions. Also, the symbols. Notice the symbols are all boxes. That's not right. And please go back to that first chart here and figure out what symbol they should have used for these sections here. Okay, moving along, there is a figure 3. This figure 3 is a really simple example of a flowchart. The previous one is actually a terrible example. It just gives you an idea of what they look like, but it also was meant to be funny. This one here is more like a flowchart. So it starts here, your flow starts here, and the first thing you do is you wake up and you check the weather channel. Is rain predicted? If yes, you stay home. If no, you play golf. And again, it flows back and stop. That's a pretty simple flowchart. It has one question, and this is what happens if it is raining. This is what happens if it's not. Moving along to figure 4. This is the last figure that I put on the page. This one is about how to catch the bus for school, and this one's a little more complicated, and I'm going to walk you through it. So you leave home for school. That's the starting point. You check the road for bus and for traffic. Is the bus coming? No. Then take your time and catch the bus. But again, here's a question. If the question is the bus coming, if the answer is yes, there's another question. Is there a traffic jam in front of the bus? If there is, take your time and catch the bus. But, and this is where the concept of computer programming and flowchart diagrams really help, is this scenario where you check the road for traffic. Is the bus coming? Yes. Is there a traffic jam? No. Oh, there's no traffic jam? You better walk quickly to catch the bus. The idea of this is to show some of the thought process, some of the decisions that you have to make in your morning. Now, the final challenge, the biggest part of this assignment, is the last question. So there's questions about figure 3, questions about figure 2. But this one here, look at figure 4. It shows a simple daily task. It misses things like, do I have everything? And is it a snow day? And that's fine. It misses a lot of the questions that you might ask in a normal day trying to catch your bus. But I want to push you to do this challenge. And this is what I'm really, really marking. I mean, I need to look through your answers for these, but the task for today is really using smart ideas, Google Drawing, or on paper flowchart to show your morning routine. What are some of the decisions you make when you wake up? And I'll just give you a quick sample. I'll do it right on here, and I'll erase it after, but I will do it right on here. If I in this space, I go to insert drawing. Again, Google Drawing is probably your easiest one for almost all tasks I give you. But you don't have to. You could theoretically go to Smart Ideas, especially for people who actually you'll all be on the right computers for Smart Ideas if you're in the library. So this is the idea here. You can go to Shapes, and Shapes gives you the computer programming shapes. Specifically, so this one here, just as an example, you click on the shape, you make the shape, and that is the starting shape. See how the corners are a little bit rounded? And you can write in here, for example, wake up. And from wake up, you draw an arrow, and the first thing that happens, and insert another shape. And what's the first thing you do? Some people, whether, it doesn't matter when they're waking up or how they're waking up, they shower. So that's a process. That's something you do. But keep in mind, you are going to also have decision boxes. So you can go from here into another shape, and there are diamonds if you look around.